Yo, what's up, my people? This is Alex, your host, and you are listening to Nurse Brew, the podcast where we discuss innovations in healthcare research and technology, and we share news from around the nursing and healthcare world. You guys ready to get into this? All right, let's do it. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Nurse Brew. Happy October. Glad you guys are here. Okay. So, I have my computer open with all of the stuff that I have prepared to discuss. But I always check the morning headlines. Like, the only time I really look at news is when I'm prepping for the podcast, just to see if any news is healthcare related. And in which case, I'll just read it real quick just to see what it's all about. So, I guess this counts. I'm looking at like just all the random headlines, just doing a quick scroll through. And this article that I just landed on, this wasn't part of the, I wasn't planning to talk about this, but I am now because it's on my screen and it's funny. Um, this article says 50 Cent sues Miami spa for allegedly suggesting he had penis surgery. So that's the headline. 50 Cent sues Miami spa for allegedly suggesting he had penis surgery. And you know, the whole point with headlines is to grab your attention and make you be like, okay, I gotta read this. So sure enough, I was like, all right, I gotta read this real quick. So the article, it says, the rapper says he snapped a photo with someone he thought was a fan, in quotes. And then 2 years later, it appeared in an article touting this fan's plastic surgery practice. So he took a pic with a lady and was like, just thought she was a fan. And then all of a sudden now, she's like using that picture to promote her plastic surgery practice, which also does penis enlargements. So it says, in a lawsuit filed in federal court, attorneys for 50 Cent, and his name is, Curtis Jackson, so they call him Mr. Jackson. He claimed that he had graciously agreed to take the pic with the spa owner, Angela Kogan, only to later discover that the unscrupulous business owner had repeatedly used it to promote her Miami plastic surgery practice. And so 50 Cent's lawyers wrote, the defendant's actions have exposed Jackson to ridicule, caused substantial damage to his professional and personal reputation, and violated his right to control his name and image. So like people are making fun of him or whatever. But it's like 50 Cent's whole career was making fun of people. Like every song he did, he was like throwing shade and like giving people smoke. Like every song he did, he was going off on people. So it's funny, like his lawyers are like, her actions have caused him ridicule and substantial damage to his professional and personal reputation. Just because people are like, hey dog, I saw you in the picture for that spa saying you had penis enlargement surgery. So much so that he has to like do something about it, which is kind of crazy. But okay, so I kept reading, and this lady, it says her attorneys. So this lady Kogan, her attorneys are saying that Mr. Jackson, 50 Cent, did receive services from her plastic surgery practice, which is Perfection Plastic Surgery and Med Spa. And it says Jackson and Miss Kogan agreed that instead of Mr. Jackson paying for the services, Mr. Jackson would take a picture with Miss Kogan that she was permitted to display on her personal and business social media accounts. Witnesses were present when this arrangement was entered into and the picture was captured. So yeah, it says witnesses were present when this arrangement was entered into and when the picture was captured. So 50 Cent saying, like, I took a picture with some random fan and she's using me on all her like penis enlargement promo posters, all her ads and shit. And like, she's saying, you came here for plastic surgery, and instead of paying me, you agreed to take a picture with me that I could use on all my stuff, all my ads and whatnot. And so now she's doing that, and he's mad. So that's interesting. Because somebody's flat out lying. He's like, she was just a fan. I just took a picture with her. And she's like, no, you came here for surgery and you said I could use the picture instead of paying me. And that sounds like something a rapper would do. I'm sorry, but that sounds like something a rapper would do. But anyway, I just thought that was a funny story. And I did not intend to share that as part of the episode. But, sometimes when I see a headline and it's funny like this one, it's like, well, I'll bump something else that I was going to talk about just so I can make fun of this real quick. So yeah, that's that. I'll go ahead and officially get into what I had prepared, and we'll dive into the healthcare latest segment. All right, let's do that.
Healthcare latest.
Okay, for my healthcare people out there, how many of you guys have heard of Lucas? Lucas is a device that I think I had heard about, but I had never really seen in action. Like, I just knew of its existence, but I didn't know what it was called, and I'd never seen it and seen how it works. So I decided to go ahead and look into it and just do a little research. So yeah, this thing is called the Lund University Cardiopulmonary Assist System. That's what Lucas stands for. Lund University Cardiopulmonary Assist System. So, from its name, what do you think it does? Cardiopulmonary Assist System. The Lucas device provides mechanical chest compressions to patients in cardiac arrest. It is mostly used in emergency medicine as an alternative to manual CPR because it provides consistent compressions at a fixed rate through difficult transport conditions and eliminates the physical strain on the person performing CPR. Now, if you've ever had to perform CPR, it's a lot harder than it looks because you have to do these compressions hard enough to make the heart pump. So you're pushing through the ribs so that you can make the heart pump manually. And, they always talk about, you sometimes break people's ribs when you're doing chest compressions. And that's true because you've got to push through the ribs hard enough to get the heart to essentially pump, which is what you're doing for the patient. And it's tiring. Like, you do a minute of chest compressions, you start getting tired. You hit 2 minutes, you start getting really tired. And when there's multiple caregivers, you'll sometimes switch out. Like, someone will do a couple of rounds of chest compressions, then they'll swap out with a fresh person because you're just not compressing as hard as you were when you started once you're a few minutes in, and you've got to keep that consistent pressure going. So what this Lucas device does is it provides that consistent compression, so it's not like alternating and slowing down and getting tired. It's just like constant compression, 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 on and on without breaking that fixed, consistent rate. Okay, and the website says, with the Lucas device, fatigue, individual variations, or psychological factors are removed from CPR, and there is no longer a need for switching CPR providers every 2 minutes. Lucas helps provide high-quality and safer chest compressions in situations such as patient movement and transportation, during prolonged CPR, or in the cath lab. And it goes on to say, Lucas helps keep your team safe during ambulance, helicopter, or in-hospital transportation by reducing X-ray exposure of CPR provider during PCI and cath lab, during the physically demanding work of providing CPR in awkward physical conditions, which I've had to do. As an EMT, you're out in the field, and if you're doing CPR, sometimes you are in an awkward physical position because you're trying to just do it wherever you are. So with this, you can kind of just strap it on them, and it can be giving compressions, and you're not like tweaking your back or just in a weird position where you can't even give adequate compressions because you're kind of contorted funny just because of the situation you're in. So yeah, I thought this was pretty cool. And what's funny is what actually got me thinking about doing this as a topic and doing some more research on it was a video I saw on Instagram Reels. So even though it's an Instagram thing, so it's mostly visual, you can still hear the discussion. So I'll go ahead and play that video, which is what kind of gave me the idea to do this topic. And then from there, we will get into our headlines, and then we will wrap this thing up. All right, so here's that.
Tips from the ER. Lucas, The CPR robot. This is a Lucas, and it was made for healthcare providers who are struggling to perform good CPR in the back of a speeding ambulance. How's it going back there? Fantastic! Also, CPR gets exhausting. It's gonna be okay, little guy. Unlike a human that has to switch out every CPR cycle, this machine can last much longer than 2 minutes, which is more than I can say for your boyfriend. Shots fired! Now, I know this machine seems aggressive, and it looks like it's doing more harm than good. But remember, the goal of CPR is to manually beat this person's heart through their sternum. And we're gonna have to crack a few ribs to get there. Ah! Is that gonna hurt the patient? Let's ask them. Hello? Oh wait, he's dead. And he ain't getting any deader. So grab the Lucas! We got a patient to save, motherfucker!
Okay, so this news headline comes to us from Inside Edition. And here's the headline. Oklahoma teen hospitalized after cell phone falling from amusement park ride smashes into her head. Have you guys heard this story yet? It's been making its rounds in the news. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to share this. A, because it's, this injury, so it's healthcare related. And B, a nurse does make an appearance in this story. Because there's always a nurse around. Whenever something goes down, there's always a nurse around. So yeah, the headline, Oklahoma teen hospitalized after cell phone falling from amusement park ride smashes into her head, which sucks. And it's really annoying. I'd be so pissed if that happened to me. So here's the first bit of the article. As Rebecca Gillespie was waiting to get onto a ride at the Oklahoma State Fair, she was hit in the head by a cell phone that fell from the sky. The phone had plummeted from a ride at an estimated 45 miles per hour, smashing into Gillespie's forehead. And ultimately, from this, she ended up with a traumatic brain injury. Like, the cell phone hits her in the head, she starts bleeding, a nurse shows up, helps her get bandaged up. They take her to the hospital, and I think a couple days later, she started having some issues, and it turned out she had a traumatic brain injury from a phone out of someone's pocket on a ride. Maybe they were taking cell phone video, trying to get video of themselves on the ride, and they just dropped it. And it's crazy because someone actually captured it on film, which is insane. People are always filming things. It's there's nowhere that someone's not filming, so you can't get away with anything these days. But someone's just filming from the ground, they're in line and they're filming the ride. So the ride goes upside down, flips these people upside down, and you see on this person's video the cell phone come from someone on the ride and just come hurling down comes spiraling down towards the earth. And you don't see it hit the person holding the camera, but it falls right next to them. So they almost got hit taking this damn video, and it hits this kid who's in line waiting to get on the ride. And here is the news piece from Inside Edition.
It's an amusement park danger that you may never have thought about. Your cell phone. A teenage girl was rushed to the hospital after she was seriously injured when a phone flew off a ride and hit her in the head. Les Trent has more.
This teenager is lucky to be alive after a fun afternoon at the amusement park turned into terror. As she was waiting to get on this ride at the Oklahoma State Fair, someone accidentally drops a cell phone, and it's plummeting right at her. Wow! It hits 18-year-old Rebecca Gillespie in the head.
Did you have any idea what it was that hit you?
At first I didn't until, I looked down and I seen out of the corner of my eye the phone on the ground.
You could see the gash in her forehead and her dazed expression. The phone hit her at an estimated 45 miles per hour. It was like a missile.
There was a bystander that was a nurse who stepped in, started applying pressure.
She was rushed to the hospital.
She had a traumatic brain injury.
People love to take selfie videos as they freak out on amusement park rides. But here at Coney Island and at other parks that have high speed or rides that go upside down, they have posted signs that say, no cell phones.
No cell phones, damn it. and this is why. Isn't that crazy? But I know, like, my cell phone is my everything. It's everybody's everything. You know, it's not just your contacts, but, you know, your GPS. You've got all this stuff stored in there. It's how you pay for things. So you really don't want to give it up ever. It's like, I don't know if I want to hand you my cell phone. Even if it's going into a locked case, you're still kind of worried about it. Like, I don't know. What if somebody breaks into the case, steals my phone, and someone has access to all my messages I've been sending that other people ain't supposed to be reading? Like, I ain't giving up my cell phone. But then this happens. So it's kind of crazy. Like, there are some like comedy shows and other various shows where you literally have to hand in your cell phone. They're like, give me your phone. And if you sneak one in and you pull it out, you get booted. Like, you're gone. So maybe they have to institute something like that. Like, if you get on this ride, you give up your phone. And if you keep it and it comes out or someone sees it, there's got to be some repercussions. I mean, literally, this girl could have been killed. If you look at her picture, she has a huge gash on her head and she's got a traumatic brain injury. So she could have died. If it hit her at the right speed, at the right angle, she might not be here. So it's definitely something to think about. And I'm not a huge proponent of everything being regulated. Like, some things need to be regulated, but sometimes it goes a little too far. And even like I said in previous episodes, working as an EMT, there are people who ride their motorcycles without helmets. And you pull up to an accident, a motor vehicle collision, where a motorcycle is involved and the person was not wearing a helmet, and it is not pretty. But if that's the way they choose to live and that's what they want to do, I'm not necessarily the guy that's like, you have to wear a helmet or else. Because you kind of know the risk you're taking. So with this, in this situation, it's not your head that's going to get smashed open by your cell phone. It's somebody else's head who's on the ground, who's not looking up, that's going to get knocked out when your phone comes out of your pocket. So there probably does need to be something that we work into the rules, especially at rides that tip you upside down, because this one flipped everybody upside down. I'm surprised more phones didn't come out. Loose change, all kind of stuff. So I don't ride rides for that reason. I don't get on them. And honestly, I don't like waiting in line for like an hour in 90-degree heat for like a 10-second ride. Them rides be like 30 seconds long. It's like, man, I stood in the heat for an hour to get on a ride that was 30 seconds. I'd rather just be like eating funnel cake and sitting on the lazy river. That's more my speed right there. Funnel cake and lazy river, baby. But anyway, wrapping that up and moving on. At the beginning, I did the 50 Cent thing. So I did find a clip from Colbert where he talked about that. So I'm going to go ahead and play that. And then the last story that I had to share, since I did the 50 Cent story, I'll go ahead and bump that one to next week, because it would take a little while to unpack. I would have to read the article, share a clip, and then make fun of it because it's pretty ridiculous. So I'll save that nonsense for next week's episode, and I'll go ahead and end with this clip from Colbert.
Meanwhile, in rapper penis news, Curtis Jackson, a.k.a. 50 Cent, is suing a Miami spa for allegedly suggesting he had penis surgery. According to his lawyers, Jackson never had such a sexual enhancement procedure. And for his part, Curtis has released a new song completely repudiating the outrageous claim. Jim?
Nope, 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 nope. No can find me writing songs. No more side strong. Stop asking if I'm paid or die to make it long. Yes, I remember those 2 weeks I called out sick. No, it wasn't to add a couple inches to my...
Well, that was fun, right? Pretty good clip. So anyway, with that, we'll go ahead and wrap this thing on up. As always, I'm glad you guys took the time to chill with me for a bit, and I look forward to seeing you next week. And until we do it again, like we always say, drink your coffee before work, drink your beer after, and never do it the other way around. All right, my people.
Put me in the ground, not no ashes in the urn. Kinda talk hood, but actually I'm a nerd. Yeah. Better than we, they think they better than us. Better than we, they think they better than us. Better fucking be, cause we gon' go bananas. Even though we better than that, it's now or never. Better than we, they think they better than us. Yeah. People like them will never understand. Growing up rich, they had the upper hand. Bootlicking pricks of badges in their hand. Motherfuck them, be taxing them for